Hello and welcome to Camp Xtras. Horror games are one of my favorite genres. There is nothing like being scared, and I love digging into what each console has in terms of scary games. The PSP surprisingly doesn't have a lot, but for what it does have, it has some gems. So I picked 5 randomly to talk about today. There are a few more horror titles out there, so be sure to tell me in the comments if I should make a part 2 of this series. All footage was captured off of a PSP, and let's go ahead and hop into this one. First on today's list is Silent Hill Origins, published by Konami and developed by Climax Studios, and it was released in 2007. This is not the only Silent Hill game on PSP, but we will save that one for another video. Origins is the prequel to the original Silent Hill, set a few years before that game. In this one, you play as Travis Grady, a truck driver who takes a detour through Silent Hill. He almost hits a little girl on the road, and after wandering the road, he saves a girl from a burning house, changing his fate quickly after. He is now stuck in Silent Hill, and you fight the creatures and explore the foggy streets of this mysterious town. I personally have great memories with this game. I rented it from Gamefly, and the intro says to get in the dark place with some headphones on, and I did exactly that. I hid in the closet with headphones on for hours straight. It had to have been the most engaging game that I'd ever played in my life up to that point, and I loved it. Those fond memories still hold true, and I still feel that Silent Hill Origins makes for an incredible portable Silent Hill game. For one, the mood in this game is one of the best crafted horror feelings I've experienced. The intro alone is worth the price of the game, wandering the streets with the incredible prologue music playing. Origins captures more of an eerie mood than it does a terrifying one, and that matches the depression of the Silent Hill series. This game feels like a typical Silent Hill game, and I don't think that's a negative at all. It has the same feeling in movement and exploration, and if you like the originals, I see no reason why you wouldn't be able to get into this one. The biggest issue for me is the combat. It's fine overall, but it does feature breakable weapons that break quite easily, and it's just easier to run away from enemies. Despite that though, I feel the mood and exploration make up for that. The game has a fog and film grain to it that feels layered on. I find that on the PSP, it is a great looking game and fun to explore. This one did later get a PS2 port, and I haven't gotten a chance to try that one out, so if you've played that one, let me know how it is in the comments. Silent Hill Origins is worth trying if you've never played this one before.
Is it lonely when
Next up is Manhunt 2, which came out in 2007 and was developed and published by Rockstar. This one saw a PS2, Wii, and PC release as well. I remember the fever around Manhunt 2 back in the day, and it has to have been one of the most controversial games ever. A game where you went around and stealthily killed enemies with everyday objects, and it allowed you to kill in your choice of brutal ways. Originally getting an adults-only rating upon release, it was eventually taken down to an M with some censorship. Back in the day, this controversy just made me want to play it even more, but I never got a chance to play it until recently. In Manhunt 2, you play as Daniel Lamb, and you're led by Leo Casper to escape the mental asylum you're in. You can't remember your past, but you seek to explore why you were admitted. All the while, people hunt after you, and you have to sneak past them and kill them by any means necessary. The game does not shy away from brutality, showing brutal deaths on screen, fitting into a slasher horror movie feeling. Due to the censorship, the kills are pretty incomprehensible though, with a filter layered on to hide it, making for a disorienting experience, which I hated to look at. A compromise that does make the game worse. Though the stealth gameplay is still solid, stealth and horror are a match made in heaven because the anxiety of hiding in the dark and hoping you don't get caught is stressful. Stealth is important here. Do not expect to run out and fight everything you see because you will not survive. You can get beaten to death very fast, so you must sneak up and take them out that way. The gameplay feels solid on the PSP, and it has a Rockstar polish to it, feeling like many of their other games of the era, though this one is extremely dark with a bleak story and setting that is unique to this game. It was interesting seeing Rockstar releasing a game that looked like this in 2007 with no next-gen releases, but on the PSP, I do think this game looks good, matching their other Grand Theft Auto entries on the console at the time. Though this game has more of a cartoony, stylized look to it that I enjoy. They really did some awesome work for Sony's handheld, and the darkness of the game shines through in this entry. If you're a fan of slasher films, then I'd say give Manhunt 2 a try. Despite being a bit botched visually with the kills, it still manages to make a mood like none other on the console. Let's get a little bit lighter and talk about Deadhead Fred. This game was released in 2007, and it was developed by Vicarious Visions, and D3 was the publisher. With this one, we step more towards a comedy horror style, though it's still entirely based in horror with grotesque characters and horror tropes and cliches. It's just here it has a comic edge, which is what makes this game unique on the console. And this is a game that only ever saw portable releases, coming out here and digitally on the Vita, making this a game that not a lot of people have played, but they definitely should. In this game, you play as Deadhead Fred, played by John C. McGinley, and you are a detective without a head. Yet you have the ability to swap your head to the many different monsters in the world. Each one has its own strengths and weaknesses, and you need to learn how to switch to each one to do well in combat and solve puzzles. In your past life, you were investigating Pitt, a sleazeball racketeer, and now that you're reanimated, you can find him again, going up against zombies and ghouls along the way, mixing the world of detective noir and horror in a fresh way, with great voice work from not only McGinley, but also John Polito, who sells the odd writing well. The story is easily the best part here. The gameplay, I'm a bit more mixed on, where I feel like the ideas are great, but it's a bit messy. The combat has a lot of mechanics, such as different heads being more effective at defeating other types. Each has different moves and mechanics, but some of them don't feel as useful as others, and get left to the wayside. Not only that, but blocking, super attacks, and regular attack moves feel awkward, and make for fighting mechanics that don't mesh well together. It's by no means bad, it's all manageable, but it's not the best. The platforming is solid though, and the camera is surprisingly good for a PSP game. The look is great too, giving off a unique vision of 40s noir horror well. It's a game where a whole vision is visible, and I appreciate that enough to let it override its faults. Its plotting, look, and world make for something unique and fresh that needed way more recognition back in the day. It won awards, but this one was not a smash hit by any means, with a planned sequel not going anywhere. Deadhead Fred needs more love, and if you like a good laugh and horror, then this one is a good one to pick up. Next, we have Obscure: The Aftermath, as it's known in North America, but it is known as Obscure 2 everywhere else. This was developed by Hydrovision and published in North America by Ignition. This is the sequel to the high school horror game, which I covered briefly on Camp Xbox. This is an interesting one since it was originally released on the Wii, PC, and PS2 in 2007, but didn't see a PSP release until 2009. Also, this game is extremely expensive, hitting insane prices just like the original, and personally, I don't find that either game is worth the high prices. And this one is also available on Steam, luckily. This is a university horror game where you swap between a mix of college students who are seeing collective visions after they drink a weird tea. This tea has created mutants, and you must take on these mutants in an explorative world. With gameplay inspired by survival horror games, you will move around detailed areas, attacking enemies and solving puzzles around every corner. If you've played survival horror games, you will know what to expect with this one, and there's nothing wrong with the comfort in that. I like that this one gets a cool university setting, though it does branch out and the enemies get disgusting in this one. This is the only version of this game that I have played before, but I do feel like it was well handled on the PSP. The combat feels solid, and so does the movement. The game is extremely dark too, and I think the graphics are what you would expect from the console at the time. It's got some fun platforming stuff and solid puzzles. On the gameplay front, it's fairly solid. My only issue is the poor voice acting. Not everyone, but most of the characters give bad performances, and it makes a lot of the cutscenes unconvincing. That being said though, this game is not poorly done by any means. If you like horror, I think you will find something to enjoy here. It luckily has a unique plot and setting to make it stand out. In my eyes, playing on genre tropes is not a negative as long as you can make something convincing, and I do think this game manages it, making for something that is solid to play.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
The final game on today's list is another lighter horror game with Death Jr. This was published by Konami and developed by Backbone Entertainment. This was released in 2005, and I've talked about this one before on a Hidden Gems on the PSP video, but I had to bring this one up for horror games on the PSP as well, since it's something unique on the console. This is an action platformer set in a horror-themed world, yet it has more of a Tim Burton gothic feel to it. All of the characters are part of some horror school with Death Jr., Pandora, Dead Guppy, Stigmartha, all of which you have to rescue in a museum that's being haunted by monsters. The plot and setting are something unique, and I would have loved to have seen a franchise built off of this, and they did make 2 more games, but the franchise never went anywhere despite the fun creativity behind it. Though going back to this one, it's still something easy to enjoy today. Even back in the day as an early PSP adopter, I was hyped up for this game and thought it was going to be amazing. Though I don't think it's amazing, I still quite enjoy it. Its action style is unique and interesting, allowing you to use your scythe in a hack-and-slash style mixed with a bunch of guns to blow away enemies. This is a purely action game asking you to destroy hordes of monsters, and it feels arcadey in design, which I love. Though it's in the platforming variety that I love this game so much. Your scythe opens up so many opportunities, such as the ability to hop off of it or glide over gaps. It's fast and fluid, and it adds tons of personality to the experience. Despite this though, the camera is quite poor. Its movement and positioning is weak, and it makes the platforming a little bit frustrating. It's not game ruining by any means, but it stops it from being a PSP classic. What elevates it though is that look and design. I wouldn't say it's a standout looking PSP game, but it has a creative art style. Obviously inspired by Tim Burton, it works well with the world and plot, giving something kid-friendly, more based on trick-or-treating or Halloween, which I think makes for something fun. Death Jr. is fresh and still holds up as one of the PSP's exclusives that doesn't get brought up enough. Definitely give this one a try. What was your favorite from today, or what would you like to see on the next list? I would love to hear from you. Be sure to leave a like as it really helps me out in the algorithm, and subscribe to keep up with more content like this, and check out my main channel Camp Xbox for more retro Xbox content, and I'll see you here next time at Camp Xtras.